This franchisee was saying they were making more profit from a can of Coke than they were from the actual pie that they were selling. So you need to make sure that franchisees are profitable and they're earning a decent profit. How much profit can vary from industry to industry. You need to do your homework and see exactly what net profit margins a franchisee can make. Hey everyone, welcome to Courtside Conversations. My name's Emil, founder and owner of Little Boomers Basketball, and it's a pleasure to be your host today. Wherever you're watching today's episode, I hope you're having a booming day, and yes, the pun is intended. My journey to entrepreneurship started on May 1st, 2018 when I launched my first basketball program with 9 kids enrolled. Today, thousands of kids across Australia are thriving in our programs, all thanks to the commitment and passion of our incredible franchisees. This podcast is here to give you real, straightforward, no BS insights into business, entrepreneurship, and what it's like to own a franchise. Without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Do you guys know the company Pieface? Neither do I, but look at this. They had 80 stores in Australia at its height. They expanded into the US, Singapore, and Japan. They had over 300 global stores within a couple of years. And they're not existent anymore. Bankrupt franchise. Franchisees paid about 200 to 450K. That's not chump change. And one franchisee even said he's struggling that much that he needs his son to pay for the bills in the franchise. In this video, I'm going to give you 3 lessons that you can learn from the $50 million franchise failure. Let's get into it. So I was reading up on Pieface, a massive franchise brand in Australia that no longer exists and got bought up. And there were so many upset, angry franchisees because they spent about 250 to 400K, which isn't chump money, for a franchise, and now they've got nothing at all to show for it. Let's go over the 3 learning lessons that you can learn and that I can learn from this case study. Lesson number 1, don't scale it until you've nailed it. A lot of franchise companies, when they first start, they have their first site or their first store or their first location. They get success in that first site and they automatically say, my God, this is franchisable. And they open up locations everywhere. And then they find out that only 50% of their locations are profitable because they scaled the model too quickly without nailing the business model. You must nail the business model, exactly the unit economics for it, one site. Once you've nailed it, then you expand the business model. And I did that for my area. I had a couple of locations that I was running. I down patted straight away. I didn't say, I'm going to franchise after I had my first 100 enrollments. I nailed down the business model. Then I became a franchise. So don't scale it until you've nailed it. The other day I was speaking to a lady and she was telling me that she's run some hypothetical profit and loss numbers and she wanted to run them by me. So I said, okay, what do you have? I've calculated, Emil, the court hire fees to be about $200 an hour. And then I said, whoa, hold on. Your numbers are really off. And so I said, where did you get those numbers from? Oh, look, I assumed. Never assume. I've created a franchise profit calculator where you can input real numbers, court hire fees, coaches' wages, how many kids you have in the program, so you can find out what your potential profit is per class. Click the link below to use the calculator. I hope you find it useful. Lesson number 2, franchisees' profitability comes first. At the end of the day, anybody coming into a franchise wants to make a profit. Profitability is the success to the brand. It's a success to the network. One of the franchisees in this brand said that they were making more profit on selling a can of Coke than they were on the actual pie products because the cost of all the ingredients to get the pies was so high. As you know, in any franchise network, you have to buy from the head office or buy from the supplier at their rate. This franchisee was saying they were making more profit from a can of Coke than they were from the actual pie that they were selling. So you need to make sure that franchisees are profitable and they're earning a decent profit. How much profit can vary from industry to industry. You need to do your homework and see exactly what net profit margins a franchisee can make. And the third one is consistency is a non-negotiable in any franchise network. What do I mean by that? In this example here, customers were complaining because they were having a pie at one location, amazing pie, and then they'll go to another location and it was the world's worst pie. So there was inconsistency in the franchise network. With us, if you experience a 1-hour class with us, let's say you're in Sydney and you do a 1-hour class and then you take a flight to Melbourne to do a class in Little Boomers Basketball in Melbourne, that class should be almost the exact same. That is the success of a franchise network, replicating something in one location and it being the exact same in another location. Unfortunately, it wasn't the case here. And the final point that I want to say, guys, and this is so important, what's the franchisor's mission? You need to understand, what is the franchisor's mission? Are they looking to get a payout and to sell the company and to move on? Because these people, by the way, have moved on and they're living in New York. They actually closed the business down and took a flight to New York. They're not even here. So what is the franchisor's mission? Are they building a brand? Are they selective with their franchisees? Are they creating something and adding enterprise value for the long run? Or are they looking to get as many franchisees in the network to find an investor and sell it off? That's what you need to do in your research.